Welcome back to part 23 of Pokémon Y, where we're going to be making our way towards another gym, but we still have a lot of catching up to do with recent Pokémon happenings, and I feel like, given I talked about this a lot in earlier parts, and I was very cynical towards Pokémon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokémon Let's Go Eevee, I want to kind of eat me words a little bit, because since then I have played Let's Go Pikachu in its entirety, and I actually had a really good time with it. I will say that the criticisms I brought to the table initially do still kind of hold up. It is very simple. That's one thing that you do have to bear in mind. It is very much a simplified Pokemon game. But it's still kind of enjoyable despite that. I was kind of worried that it would feel like a bit, like just of a drag to go through like Kanto Easy mode. But, it's engaging enough for me. The extra quality of life features that they brought in, I will say, one thing that I'm a bit disappointed that isn't coming back for Sword and Shield from that is seeing the Pokemon in the overworld. And that might seem like quite a simple thing, but it makes it a lot less tedious to traverse from like between routes and that. You can kind of see what's coming, you can see what, it makes hunting certain kinds of Pokemon a lot more convenient as well. You can build your team however you feel like building your team. And yeah, you guys haven't played that one yet, have you?
No.
Do you intend to?
No.
Well, I would need a Switch.
Oh yeah, fair point. Yeah, but I would say to anyone who's interested in it, maybe give it a shot, even if you're a bit skeptical, because it is very much a casual run through Kanto in a fun way, and I kind of appreciate that for what it is. But yeah, given more information's come out, have either of you guys got any more thoughts from that? Given what you've seen,
it doesn't feel gimmicky then.
Not really.
No. Just 3D,
It-
pretty game. That it's not like that, is it?
The art style is very basic.
It's very toy-like in a way with its aesthetics. It's very squeaky clean.
It's got that kind of, clean-cut Nintendo look to it, which I can't really rip into too much. To be fair, it's doing what it needs to do, but I kind of feel like at the same time that games like the 3DS games, for example, although they're technically inferior, they do make better use of their art style. There's a lot more detail just in this shot alone of us sitting at this table getting begged for a tip. There's more going on visually than there is at any part of
very
Let's Go.
desperate in Kalos.
Well, I suppose it is kind of a cultural thing, tipping, isn't it? Some countries it's a thing, other countries they'll be offended if you offer a tip, so it's maybe look into that before you go away somewhere. But I hate Nidoqueen. I like Nidoqueen. Pokemon is a mirror to reflect a person. Were they saying we're a fucking Nidoqueen there? I looked away during the context of that, thanks, love.
Yeah, you do realise I carry around a Blastoise in my pocket.
That's not an innuendo, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I happen to carry a turtle around that has cannons on its back that can punch holes through steel.
And it has a Mega Stone, so double don't fuck with me. But yeah, the other thing that we should kind of get out of the way, Sword and Shield. Stephen.
There's not much to say on it at the moment.
Go on.
What can I say, really? I mean, I like that the region is based off of the UK.
Definitely.
And I like all of the starters.
Yeah, this might be... obviously, this is dependent on seeing what the evolutions look like.
Yeah.
But this might be the first gen where I am literally torn between all three of the starters. There's not one that's, a definite favourite.
It's for me, it's like Gen 3 again for me. Because, with Gen 3, I felt I feel all of the starters are pretty even. In my eyes.
They're good picks, though. I do still have, a defined order for that. I would say, Trico, Mudkip, Torchic.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would have different I don't know.
For me,
they're all pretty good, I think.
For me, it's interchangeable between Trico and Torchic, then Mudkip for me.
Yeah, no,
Lots of people like Torchwood, don't they? Blaziken.
Well, Blaziken is pretty neat, but I suppose it gets away with being the first of the firefighting ones.
Yeah.
And I will say I am a little bit concerned about Score Bunny because I am my firefighting senses are tingling.
Yeah.
It's just got that kind of look to it. I hope I'll be proven wrong.
Yeah.
But I can see them going for a fighting rabbit kind
It's
of
like,
thing.
supposedly that isn't a bandage on its nose. It is apparently a heat pad. Because there is a brand in Japan of heat pads and it has a rabbit as its mascot.
Okay, that
So
might
it's
be digging a little bit.
I mean, yeah, it's probably digging a little bit, but it's like, it probably is. It's like considering it's Japan and they like to reference their own things and that. It's like, I'm keen to believe that that's probably a slight influence on the design.
Well, when the evolution's wearing boxing gloves, I'll be able to
Yeah,
prove you
I know.
wrong.
It's like, I'm not expecting boxing gloves. I got more of the football
Oh yeah, it could be.
from it.
I suppose that'd be a different take on the
It's like,
firefighting thing,
I mean,
wouldn't
the
it?
name's Score Bunny.
Yeah. I don't know what his Japanese name is, whether it's like also got a similar kind of vibe, but you know, like if we
I think the Japanese name has like the word spark in it, so many people are keen to believe that it might be part electric.
it's not going to be
It's not
fire
gonna be,
electric.
no.
I feel like if there's going to be a subtype, it'll either be firefighting, possibly fire fairy, maybe.
Some people want it to be fire steel. I don't see how it could be, but it'd be interesting.
Yeah, it'd need quite a bit of a change. I was saying like Empoleon got the steel type and it doesn't really look like a steel type.
Nah. I mean, there's the trident shape on its head, which kind of lends itself to the steel type.
Maybe. It's a bit of a stretch there, I would say. It feels like maybe they were just trying to diversify the types a little bit. Because bear in mind that Torterra kind of got a bit of an OP boost by getting ground type. You know, like, it's not weak to fire anymore, so fuck the idea of having the triangle system.
Yeah, but it's really weak to ice moves, so...
Yeah, true, but like, you
I
know...
don't think ground is resistant to fire. Pretty sure it's neutral.
Yeah, but it can beat the living shit out of a fire type.
Yes.
That's kind of what I was getting at there.
Yes,
I
but
worded
it's
it
still
badly.
weak to fire.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at that from the wrong angle. But yeah, it does kind of still interfere with the whole triangle system that they're going on. I think, are there any other types that you could have that going with? Because, like, I know some people were talking about possibly going with, like, fighting, psychic and dark. But then that's kind of a bit imbalanced because of the immunity.
But then again, Kalos has already done that.
Oh yeah, in terms of their secondary types,
Yeah.
isn't it? I completely forgot about that.
Delphox, Psychic, Chestnut is Fighting type, and Greninja's a Dark type.
I always forget that Greninja's dark. I suppose it sort of makes sense with like the whole ninja thing going on, but still. But yeah, talking about the fairy type, we are in the fairy type gym here, and I feel like this is probably a good time to bring up the discussion of our favourite fairy type Pokemon, Steven. It's quite difficult, I will admit.
I like Florges.
Which one's that?
That's the evolved form of Floette and Flabébé.
Oh, right, yeah.
I think that's a good one. Sylveon has grown on me over time. I want to say Gardevoir, considering it becomes a fairy type.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, it is a tough choice.
Is Milotic fairy?
No.
It should be.
It really should
It
be,
looks like it should be.
Like, it's got that kind of look to it,
It's
hasn't
got
it?
that elegance to it. You'd think it would fit the typing.
I forget, what about Chansey and Blissey? Did they get retyped?
No, I think they are just normal type.
Oh, okay, because I know, like, Jigglypuff got retyped.
Yep, half fairy.
Yeah, Clefairy did as well, which makes
Yeah.
sense. Mr. Mime did for some reason, which doesn't
Yeah,
make
that's
sense.
baffling. The Azurill line is part fairy.
Oh, yeah, that's true,
And
yeah.
that did a lot for them.
In what sort of way?
It's like they've got more resistances now, and plus Azumarill has huge power as one of its abilities, so its attack stat gets doubled.
Oh, nice.
So and even though it's slow, it's got various moves that you can take advantage of, like Aqua Jet.
Oh, right,
So even though it's a weak move, it's strong in its hands.
What does fairy mean as a type? Because it just seems like the weirdest.
It really is
like
just
anything can sort of be a fairy.
It really is just kind of magical in a sense. Like
Yeah.
it's like, and apparently the reason for its weaknesses is apparently based off of fairy tales, where like things like iron and poisons are used to kill fairies.
It's a type of convenience. Dragons have got too OP and they needed
Yes.
something to nerf them. That's why it actually exists.
That is really the reason it exists, considering in Gen 5, Dragon was just so overpowered. All you needed was a fast dragon, give it Dragon Dance, then just use Outrage.
Basically, you got to a point where if you had a Garchomp, you won.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of, they wanted to even that out a little bit. Whether it did that or not, I still think one of the biggest problems with the Dragon type was more that it was distributed too liberally. Because Dragon, I feel like Dragon has a bit of a legendary connotation with it. You would think it's meant to be something a bit mythical, but when you've got so many bloody dragons that are just basic, when you got fucking Drudigan, which is like Salamence but with triangles, that's not special anymore.
I don't really see Salamence in it. I mean, there's the colour scheme, but the overall design is vastly different to Salamence.
It's the colours that stick out to me.
It really is.
It seems like the same kind of.
It makes
look.
It makes me think of a holly bush.
What is Dragon's weakness?
Dragon ice and fairy.
Ice and fairy.
Yeah, and then there's other ones where dragons been combined with things like Kingdra for the longest time was an absolute pain in the arse to beat, because Kingdra's only weakness up until Gen 6 was dragon.
Because it's an ice type.
No,
it's water, but it's resistant to ice to a certain degree. It's not completely resistant, but it numbed down a little bit.
Because water is resistant to ice and dragon is weak to it, it gets neutral damage from ice moves.
Yeah, so that got the fairy type weakness at least, which it's still not that much of a nerf really, given what offensive fairy type moves are there? Because there's Dazzling Gleam,
Moonblast, there's Disarming Voice, Sweet Kiss, I think it's called.
What does that do, Sweet Kiss?
It's a physical move and it drains health from the enemy, which is pretty good.
It's something, but there's not really a huge move pool for fairy types like there are for every other type.
But the ones that are there are very useful, which is at least a major positive.
Yeah, Dazzling Gleam there, that is actually a really powerful attack. I'm using a steel type here, which is why it didn't do too much to me. But, if you got Dazzling Gleam and you used it in the right time, then, you're going to do some lethal damage for that.
Yeah, it's more useful in doubles, whereas, because it hits both.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it hits two enemies at the same time, whereas Moonblast is more powerful and best for just using on one enemy.
So does Dazzling Gleam also hit your friendly, or is it just the enemies?
I don't think so.
Because that's been kind of inconsistent with some moves, hasn't it? Because Surf, I know in Colosseum and I think XD, it just hits the opponents. But
I think it still does. No, it hits your allies as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of got nerfed a little bit.
Earthquake.
Earthquake always has hit everyone on the field, because Earthquake was the bane of my existence queuing past the Colosseum, because when you're trying to snag the Shadow Entei, when the guy who owns said Shadow Entei, every other one of his Pokemon knows the move Earthquake, and they're firing Earthquakes off all over the place, and you've got to snag the Entei without it getting team killed.
That's not a good time.
Because Dakim's strategy, aside from that, is incredibly smart, because what he does is all his Pokemon, they know both Earthquake and Protect, and they will just alternate. but the Entei doesn't have Protect.
Oh.
So the Entei, if like an earthquake gets fired out, he dies. You know, so you have to get rid of all the other Pokemon before the Entei comes out, because otherwise you ain't gonna get it.
Yeah, he's relying too much on its legendary status.
Well, it's just like a complete oversight, I would say, like, because it just seems like the sort of thing that, you know, that they have theming for the Cypher admins, because like the other two that you fight afterward have Suicune and Raikou. So like they just give him the fire type, fuck it, why not? Like the Suicune might stand a chance, but Entei or Raikou, like nah, Earthquake will kill it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there we just got the Dazzling Gleam TM. I don't think I'll use it. Also, over the course of this playthrough, I am going to be rotating more and more Pokemon around, just so we see like loads of different ones, including a few Pokemon that had been left on this cartridge when I bought it, because I bought this game pre-owned. Before I reset the file to record this, I just traded over all the cool Pokemon.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
So, like, you know, we will see some cooler stuff shown off. I think that might be where I got the Charizard I'm using from, because there was just a Charmeleon I had lying around, either from my X-File or from this, I can't remember. But yes, up next will be the Pokeball Factory. So that's one of the more unique dungeons from this game, and we will see you then.